I was homeschooled and I was bullied by my mom. Was also my teacher, very problematic.
Your bully being your teacher is insane.
She was trying to be like, give me the full experience, you know. So she asked me to prom, and then she, beat me up a little. It was very confusing as a child. That's how you're supposed to do homeschooling, right? That's how everybody else did it?
Yes.
Cool. And I'm going to have to, for lack of choice, for lack of option, I'm going to say the most excited I am is to see Trolls 2.
Well, can you give me the log line of Trolls 2?
Trolls 2, even trollier.
What are they doing in Trolls 2?
They're a boy band. That was my Trolls hair. Oh. They are, I think they were in a boy band when they were kids.
Okay.
And then their egos got too big and they all disbanded. And I think that their younger sister is trying to get them back together as a boy band.
Okay.
Like Backstreet's back, all right. And that's it. And then, I don't know the log line, but I'm going to say that it's don't let your ego get in the way of family. Did you like it?
I did.
Should I be a writer?
I think you nailed it.
Check the. Oh, all good now. Okay, great. We love that for us.
You're good now.
Cool.
Thanks, chat.
Thanks, chat. Okay, now maybe my hair looked like this the whole time, but now my hair looks insane. Okay. So, first thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. What'd you think, Assad?
Can I tell you my favorite trailer? I skipped over it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't going to ask your opinion. Yes, please. Tell me your favorite trailer.
Please. Yeah, can I get some reps here? Okay, I know we usually wait till deep into the pod to start objectifying women.
Oh, gosh. Okay.
Can we do it early?
Yeah, please. Let's, we're about 30 seconds in, so I think let's just jump into the objectification.
I'd like to bear my testimony of Brie Larson. I've made a full 180 on Brie Larson. I've come all the way around.
Okay.
You used to think she was completely boring, unimaginative, not a good actor. Marvels 2, we got a trailer for Marvels 2. I'm back, Brie. You have to realize, what? You don't like Brie Larson?
In fairness,
you look like Brie Larson. What do you mean?
In fairness, you were back when you saw her in those car commercials.
I wanted to buy a Nissan because I saw her and
you were
Lauren
like,
from Insecure.
I'm buying a new car. As long as it comes with Brie Larson in the front seat.
The thing is like you got to understand why you have to appreciate Brie Larson. If you want the best actress in the world, you're not going to get it. But if you realize that she's just a bro, I think she's just a bro.
I highly disagree with this, by the way.
I think she's like Zach Morris in a female body. And the objectifying female portion of this podcast, her in a tank looks amazing in the Marvels. That was my favorite trailer. Thanks to Brie Larson and her tank top. Thank you.
Okay. Well, cheers to Brie and your white tank. Doing it for all of the teenagers and the teenage boys who never grew up. Yes, yeah, we did see that, and your boy got real excited. I do think she's a good actress. I just don't think she's not that girl. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to make her this, like, quirky, kooky, zany, like, high energy, I'm a superhero, and I say fun one-liners, and it's just not working for her personality. I think she's like, I don't think she's a bro either. I think she does The Room very well. Like, she does that tone of, she's a really, really good actress, but just really minimal acting. Like, she's not throwing punchlines. Not everyone can be funny, you know? Not all of us can be Sarah Stouffer, guys, okay?
Tell us a joke then if you're funny, Sarah Stouffer.
Nope, I don't have one. I have like a half of one, and it's not good. Okay, so let's see. Does the chat like Brie Larson? This is a great question. How do we feel about Brie Larson? Cool. Now, are you done talking about your trailers? Are you done objectifying women?
For this portion.
Okay, for this portion. So you're going to circle back to it.
We will.
Possibly at the end.
Yeah.
Guys, something to look forward to.
Objectifying.
Okay. This movie's logline is, the film follows the Turtle brothers as they work to earn the love of New York City while facing down an army of mutants. Are you in? Are you hooked by the logline? No?
I'm bull.
He's being quiet back there. Okay, he says he's bull. I was excited to see this movie because the preview made it look like it was really funny. This looks like I'm Bluestone. Come buy it and drink it for energy and taste. I'm not sponsored by Bluestone, but I would love to be. Okay, first thoughts. Roger K in the chat says he's meh on Brie Larson.
Yeah, I think that's how a lot of people feel about Brie Larson. I'm gonna be honest. That's where I was.
I don't want to take down women.
I was meh on Brie Larson for a while, Roger. I'm with you.
Roger, who is she? Mr. Clay says. Just do a quick Google. She's Captain Marvel.
All right, yeah, she's Captain Marvel.
Lost her lights. Meh is the perfect description. Have you ever had vanilla ice cream with no chocolate sauce and no strawberries, no whipped cream, no sprinkles? It's meh. It's Brie Larson. Sorry, Brie, we love you, and I think you're probably a really great gal. First thoughts on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I was really excited to see this movie. I thought the previews made it look like it was funny and maybe a little bit on the corner of Spider-Verse with the different kind of animation that they used. And Assad thought it was going to be trash. So let's see who was right. What do we think?
Oh, man. I was, well, listen, first, can I get my first thoughts in?
Let's hear it.
It's obvious it's a ripple effect of the Spider-Verse, right? We're trying more adventurous animation and trying to break new ground with different types of animation. Here's the big takeaway for me. The animation, although really bold in what they tried, right? It was a little distracting for me, to be honest with you. The animation didn't fully work. It's one of these things where I appreciate how they did it, but I didn't appreciate the execution. You know, I appreciate the idea more than the execution. The animation's cool, and I really dig that it's something I've never seen before, but I was never able to fully immerse myself. And this is partly to have, like, the Spider-Verse to blame, you know, because I'm just 2 months away from seeing that and try to dive into another, like, courageous animation film, and it never, just a barrier. There's a barrier of entry for me.
Yeah, I felt similarly. I thought overall, though, even though I did feel a little like it didn't quite hit the mark, it wasn't as colorful and as bright as Spider-Verse, I did appreciate the swing more than it bothered me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the animation was very different and cool, unlike a lot of things that you've seen before. Very similar to Spider-Verse, how they used a lot of different techniques and tried to make it really look like a comic book, which I thought worked really well. It was just really dark, and if Spider-Verse had kind of done it, maybe ratcheted it up to like a 40%, they did it to 100% filter, if you know what I mean. Like when you're playing with your filter on your camera, you're like, ooh, that's too much. They went too far, I think. So they kind of ratcheted it up to 100%, and it was a little dark and hard to follow, but I dug it at the end of the day. And it's not really a pretty animation style. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think they tried to encapsulate New York through the music, through the sewers, so it was a little bit more guttural, like literally and figuratively, but and a little bit more gritty, which I dig. I honestly call it the Kendrick Lamar theory. If I don't listen to all of his music, that's my fault, but I appreciate the style of music he makes. I don't really like bang it in the car, but I appreciate the attempts more than the execution. You know? So it's the same with this, where it's like, I appreciate that this is a completely new looking film, even though the content and the IP is the same. It's bold how they took it on, how they tried to change it. And we'll probably get into the differences that this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is than the ones we grew up with, but I appreciate the attempt in all of it. I had a decent time in the film. I'm not sure if I liked it more than you, which is becoming a theme on this podcast, huh?
You know, I'm glad you brought it up so I didn't have to. You're kind of a bummer. You don't like any movies.
You wanted to say bitch, huh?
I did not want to. I wanted to say what I said. Thank you very much for offering, though. You haven't liked anything.
That's not true, is it? I mean, well, we haven't talked about some movies that I've seen this year that I have like that we're going to get into for sure.
Okay.
Two big movies that are very different that I've really loved.
Okay, good. I'm excited to hear a positive review from you for once.
Yeah.
Because I was, leaving the movie with someone who's always just like, that sucked is not fun. I loved this movie. I walked out and I was super stoked. As I said, I went in thinking it was going to be good, but then Assad said it was going to be bad, so I had to kind of dampen my expectations, and I ended up having the best time. So it was quite a roller coaster of emotions for me. But it was really funny. The whole theater was laughing the whole time, including you, sir.
Yeah.
So, there's a bunch of little kids there, but the jokes they did a good job of making it for kids and for adults. There was a lot of vomit humor, which was clearly for the children, and Assad. A couple fart jokes in there for the little ones. But no, I thought it was really clever and really funny. And the voice work was excellent. I thought the kids that they chose to play the Turtles did a great job. And you said who played Splinter?
Jackie Chan did, and he just crushed.
Jackie Chan played Splinter, and he was awesome. He was super funny, and I thought really nailed the kind of out of touch parent trying to be cool with their teenage kids, and I thought it was really fun. Heartwarming, funny, just killing it for me. And Assad thought it was okay. He had an okay time.
It was I guess I should say that with all of the remakes, spin-offs that we're getting now, it was definitely above that mediocre quality that we've been receiving from a bunch of known properties, you know? Which is refreshing. It's like they did take a bold take on it. The animation was new, the writing was new, they was really punchy. They let the people play with it a lot. The actors, they let them play with it quite a bit. But for me, it was just decent. Look, Steven De Silva said, I thought the movie sucked. Damn.
Steven, really?
Why, Steven? Tell us why.
Tell us why you didn't like it.
But yeah, for me it was just kind of like, oh, that's a decent film, which for now, if we're kind of like grade on a curve from all the spin-offs and the known properties we have been getting, I'm like, that's better than what I expected, you know?
Okay, yeah. I thought it was fun. I really liked how, well, we can get into Rose and Thorn, but I'm really excited to see what Steven says, why he thinks this movie sucked. Okay, so Rose and Thorn, what was your favorite part of the film, Assad?
I wanted to make it one specific part, which I probably should, but the rose of this for me was Jackie Chan's performance.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
It was kind of a market of time for me as well, because I grew up a huge fan of Jackie Chan films.
Right.
And not like post-Rush Hour. Like my mom was big on martial arts, so she showed us martial arts movies, and I watched a lot of Jackie Chan films. And before you started like pledging your allegiance to Tom Cruise, he was the original I did my own stunts guy.
Okay.
You know? That's why a lot of people call Tom Cruise the white Jackie Chan, I think. I don't think anyone calls him that.
I hadn't heard that one.
Tom Cruise, oh yeah, that's the white Jackie Chan, right?
Oh, hey, are you the white Jackie Chan? Yeah, when you go into Chinatown, it says, the white Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. No, I was such a huge fan of his. He's my rose, man. His vocal performance in it was phenomenal, which leads me to a question before you tell me your rose, Sarah.
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, how do movie studios, film studios, justify paying these big actors for vocal performances when there's a number of vocal performers out there that would take a lot less money to do it? Is it because, A, those actors are going to promote the film? I don't know what the B is, but
okay.
Give me some answers. Because I'm always like, I know there's a good vocal actors out there. Why pay a big name to do it?
Well, I think you answered your own question, but that's it. This became popular. You remember when you and I were growing up, I mean, Lion King, Aladdin, all of those movies were just voice actors, right? It was never like a stunt casting for any kind of voiceover work. And then, I don't know, it was sometime around, what would you say, like high school? Mm-hmm. That they started, all of these stars were being cast in films, and it was like, this is a terrible example, but I guess Jonathan Taylor Thomas was in Lion King. But it was like, Tim Allen in this, and you're like, oh, I guess we should go see this. If a big star is going to give their time to this movie, it must be really good. And that's exactly why they do it. They do it so that they can have press tours with people going and answering those, the junkets with the questions and going on hot ones and promoting. Otherwise, what are you going to have, voice actors going on tour? And
yeah.
So I think it's just another way. And for big movie stars, think about nowadays, you can shoot it from your house, just Zoom with the director, and if you have a voice booth, you can just sit there in your own house and do it. You don't have to leave. You don't have to leave your family. You don't have to. It's like a very low lift and easy commitment, I would imagine, compared to actually going and filming for 3 months in Rome or whatever.
Before you go to your rose, Steven answered our question, which was like, he thought it was very predictable, writing wasn't all too well, and he thought Ice Cube was kind of cringe. I'm on him on the last...
Yeah, the Ice Cube performance was...
Ice Cube performance. I struggle with this, and I struggle with this with black performances in big budget films. They always come off a little too like, ooh, too many white hands were dealt in this performance.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it felt a little like a caricature of himself, or a caricature of this big bad guy. Fair. I mean, in fairness, Steven, this was a children's movie. I mean, what kind of writing are you expecting here? It was all pretty, pretty basic. Yeah, I would say I actually wrote something similar, Steven. It was, the stakes weren't very high. which, what do you want from this? So you kind of have to go in with, but I never felt any kind of like, oh shoot, what's going to happen? Or are they going to make it? And there were really low stakes. The stakes were like, will they be liked? You know, they want to be liked so badly and fit in, which everyone can obviously relate to, except for me, because I've always just been so cool.
Weren't you homeschooled?
I was homeschooled, and I was bullied by my mom. Was also my teacher, very problematic.
Your bully being your teacher is insane.
She was trying to be like, give me the full experience, you know. So she asked me to prom, and then she, beat me up a little. It was very confusing as a child. That's how you're supposed to do homeschooling, right? That's how everybody else did it.
Yes.
Cool. So my rose was very specific and odd, but it was my favorite part of the movie. Was there would be little parts throughout the film sprinkled in where they were letting their talent kind of improv a little.
Yeah.
And you could really tell that they were just ad-libbing lines. And it felt very, I wonder actually, it'd be interesting to know if they did record this together. I wouldn't be surprised if they really got all the kids in a room together, at least the Turtles, and then let the other guest appearances. But it seemed, the camaraderie was there, and it seemed real, and the slang was current. It didn't feel like some old person had, like I had written like, zoinks, cool dude, They were like saying real, relevant lingo, and it was really fun, and that was my rose, was those little moments where they were riffing with each other and poking fun at each other. I actually have a little personal story to tell about my relationship with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up. So I was a little too young for this show, and maybe just too much of a girl for it, but my brothers who were older used to watch this show. And I remember, so therefore it was cool because I didn't really get it. I remember my middle brother, Aaron, took me into the bathroom when he was probably like 8, not old enough to know that it wasn't cool to play with your sister's hair. And so you probably don't know this story, son. He took me into the bathroom. Do you know the story?
I don't.
And he would like take my hair, because the April from the cartoons had this like real sweeping like comb over, like this, like, because she was mysterious and sexy. Okay. And wore a jumpsuit. And Aaron took me into the bathroom, and he like would comb my hair over my face and then hairsprayed it, and I thought I was very cool. So that's my little love story. It was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and that was probably the last time that I was cool enough to hang out with my brother. After that, it was like all, ew, you're my little sister, go away.
People from this podcast are going to quickly learn about Aaron, her brother Aaron. She has 2 of them, but Aaron enforced the most trauma onto her life.
He was the bad kid. Josh was like a cool older brother who was like, let me tag along. But Aaron was always, causing drama and trouble, which turns out made him more interesting and exciting to be around. So, all right, what was your Thorn?
I don't know. A spoiler alert here coming, guys, if you haven't seen it.
Spoiler alert.
Get over yourself.
It's a kid's movie. It's fine.
Yeah, come on, man. I don't really love the villain, Superfly turning into a big villain at the end. Maybe I'm just like old and blind as fuck, but I couldn't tell what was what on his face. What his legs were made of. It was too dark and then too like adventurous with the type of like costuming they built him up. I don't know. I didn't even know what I was looking at. Maybe I was supposed to, but I don't know. I was like, oh man, if this is the big bad at the end, if he evolves into this big creature, I would like to see what it is. And I didn't even know what the hell they were fighting with.
That's a good point. And I think that goes back to the actual darkness of the overall film, the overall look of the film. And like you said, I think they were trying to go for a more gritty texture and feel to it, so it felt like the comic books, but it was a little dark, and I agree. It was hard to see. The only time that you really realized what was happening, which, again, spoiler, I think there were all of these different creatures from the ocean had attached to his body, but then there were horses, so I was confused about that. Did you understand that?
I didn't. No. I don't think they landed that plane
seahorses?
fully.
I don't know.
I don't think they landed that plane.
Yeah, so that was odd, but I mean, who cares? It didn't bother me. I don't need to see that, I don't need to see that. Okay.
So what's that reference again? I don't need to see
Valerie Cherish from your favorite show on HBO, the Comeback Kid.
Oh.
We don't need to see that. Okay, my Thorn was okay. There was a moment where that they really could have nailed, that would have been really funny, when they were all driving the van. The villains are driving this van, and the turtles are in the back pretending to be allies, and they end up taking over the van and trying to get the weapon away from the bad guys. In this moment, as they're driving, the bad guys are driving, and of course, it would be too easy to have them listening to some like heavy metal or like something, you know, bad guys listen to. And so they start listening to What's Going On, you know? So I wake in the morning, step outside, that song. And it was almost so funny. You know, they're driving and it's like this, everybody knows that song, everybody loves the song, we're all jamming to it, everyone's getting excited. But it's just too quiet. I thought if they would have really like, you know, blew it up, made that music louder for that sequence, I think they were trying to put lines in. There's a lot of dialogue kind of happening at the same time, but I think it would have been really funny if they would have leaned fully on into that and just cranked it up and had everything kind of happening in slow-mo. I wanted it to be funny. I started off laughing. I really liked the choice, but it didn't quite, they didn't execute on that for me.
Can I ask you, what's your, well, I guess this brings it to a bigger point about where movies are now.
Okay.
I'm putting you on the spot because we didn't talk about this before, but what was the turning point in film where they really leaned on music cues, known music properties? It used to just be like maybe once in a while you got it in a trailer, you know?
Well, I think we talked about this. You said it was Wolf of Wall Street.
Well, that's just trailers. I'm talking about in the actual movies, you know? Like, they're just, these kids' movies are loaded up with known songs now.
Right.
Maybe it was always like that.
No, I think that's a good question. Do you think that before they thought it wasn't worth spending the money on? And now it is?
Yeah, it might be. You know, and sometimes like licenses or royalties come up, and so songs are cheaper now. Like maybe Blackstreet's No Diggity is a lot cheaper now, and that's why they put it in.
That's what I was going to say. Maybe it's just cheaper.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. All right, let's see. Oh, turn your phone off. What are we doing? A noob.
All right, you sound like an Alamo employee.
Sir, we're going to have to ask you to leave. It's your first time on set, sir. Okay, accent police time.
Ooh, oh, there's
is there
an accent
anybody
police
new in the
this?
chat who doesn't know what accent police is?
Oh, please explain accent police
Okay.
to the people.
Here we go again. I'm not going to explain it every time, I promise, and I'm going to get better at it. Accent police, do I detect an accent? I have a very good ear for hearing people's accents when they're putting on an American accent. They don't do a great job of it 90% of the time, and I'm listening for it. So, movie stars, sharpen up your skills. I do not detect an accent in this movie.
None.
Ding, 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 ding. We need like a sound effect for that. Woo!
Not even with Jackie Chan.
Oh, dear.
Cut it? Cut it out? Okay.
Yeah, let's just...
All right.
No, I mean, I did not detect anyone putting on an American accent. It's not, nobody had any accents in the film.
Okay. Okay.
So, great job, guys. You cast local. No, I don't know what you did. Okay, so Sarah's Gummy Rating. One other thing I have to explain. So, Gummy Rating is how I rated the film on a scale of 0 to 5, 0 being the best score you can get, 5 being the worst score you can get. And my gummy rating is how many THC gummies do you need to eat to enjoy this movie? I gave this movie a 2. 2 gummies. So, you know, there's not any real stakes in this movie. Pop a few gummies, go sit in a nice air-conditioned theater for an hour and 37 minutes, and enjoy the silly, dumb, childlike memories that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem will bring to you. And that's the end. That's the end of the podcast, guys. What do you think? Assad, any closing notes that you had? Any thoughts?
I did want to know, you told a story about your youth. I did want to know your relationship to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles growing up, other than your brother trying to comb your hair like April O'Neil.
That's really it. I mean, they had the little dolls, action figures, not dolls. Action figures. They had the action figure. Oh, you know what? You know what my real thorn of this movie was? Where was Shredder?
You don't like them kind of when they're revamping the whole process, not to lean on the... Oh.
I want to see my Shredder. I want to see my villain. He's so cool. He's so bad.
Okay.
He's my hero.
Okay.
Not my Superfly, not my president, not my evil villain. I don't know. Oh, who gave me a microphone?
2 gummies.
2 gummies. Yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot. I enjoyed this movie sober, but I think this is a great movie to just have a little something, go have fun. It's just fun and funny and laugh, and it was great. And if you're taking your kids, you know, bring a nanny or your grandma so you can get high, or, you know, whatever. I don't have kids. I'm not going to tell you what to do with your life. I don't know. You know, I remember, you know who it was? Our Lord and Savior, Andy Cohen. He said,
Who was Andy Cohen?
Who's Andy Cohen? He runs Bravo, okay?
Okay.
He creates all my best and favorite shows.
Okay.
He says that he has never paid more attention or had more fun playing with his kids than when he's a little high. How do you feel about that?
I feel like it's negligent.
Well, I'm sure he's got staff around in case anybody hurts themselves and needs to be brought to the hospital.
Wait, he gets high to play with his kids?
No one said he gets high to play with his kids. I think it's just happened that way where he's like, oh, he's a little high and they play Legos, and he's like, you know, when you get high, your imagination starts to kind of spark and you have fun. Do we think this is a bad thing? Is this a terrible way to be around your children? Should we ask my dad? He played with us so much as a little kid, and I'm sure he was high all the time, and he probably enjoyed it a lot more. What's your controversial opinion on this?
I don't really love that he admits he's, well, I don't know, maybe I'm being old-fashioned for someone who does enjoy edibles, but being high, maybe it's just me. I'm speaking with my voice. She doesn't know how to control my high. I would be playing with the kids. Then when I came down, I'd be like, oh, the kids were never even there. You know?
That's acid.
Yeah,
You're taking mushrooms and acid, not weed. We need to talk about your gummy intake. They're the wrong gummies. I'm just going to stock his cabinets with vitamin gummies, and he'll just be walking around like, I'm high as a kite. Whoa, zoinks. I've never been this high. I've said zoinks 2 times for anyone who's counting, guys. 2 times. The wheels are falling off this podcast. Thank you for joining, everyone. We've got more coming for you. We've seen how many movies this weekend? 3?
Yeah.
3 movies in 2 days. It's very fun. Venmo me for tickets. They're very expensive. Please just hit me with $5. Sarah.
The LA price on tickets.
What'd you say?
The LA price on movie tickets.
Yeah, it's $20 a pop, and that's before 4DX, which is my preferred viewing experience. Google 4DX, and if you haven't gone and you live in LA or somewhere that has a 4DX theater, go see a film in 4DX. It's so fun.